Clicking.
Is it live?
Yes. Something go on your thing. Swipe it.
Nope, nope.
Or just Facebook.
Nope, we're live. Hey everybody, we're just getting ourselves put together right now. Mr. Agudelo could not make it because he is in the process of getting ready to get married. Dun, 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 dun. Anyways.
He meant to have happy sounds.
Yeah,
That
except
not the
every single time,
ones.
whatever. Why is my Facebook not coming up right now? This is not what I want. I don't really care about that. We're gonna be starting up in 2 seconds. There we go, we're live right there.
Ooh. Oh.
Let's see if we have anybody on here. Great, I can't see anything.
Here you go. Is that what you're looking for?
No. So that's good. So we got someone watching. Susie Suze, how we doing? We're gonna be starting up in like 2 seconds. Just getting ourselves put together right now. I do not want volume.
Am I in the wrong one? You didn't have.
Boom. And then this one is going to be watching us on the actual Let's
Oh,
Talk
there it was right
event
there.
page. Boom. So we're just getting ourselves situated so we can see all you guys.
We're ready to go live now.
We're already live.
Yeah, I'm saying it's 6 o'clock.
Oh, yes, yes.
It's not popping up.
So go to see discussions down there. Boom. If nothing pops up, then yours is acting a fool.
There it is.
Nope, that's me and Agudelo. So yours is acting up. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't know why yours isn't.
That's okay. We can just go off of this.
All right,
one.
we'll make it work.
Let's just get it going.
So hey everybody, it's Jonathan and Lisette. Agudelo could not make it with us today because, like I said, he's getting ready to get married. Jared Coyle, how we doing, buddy? Thank you for joining. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure that you comment. Make sure that you tag people that you think that this would be useful for. If you like and share this, Facebook, and when we do put this up on YouTube eventually, that helps other people kind of see the stuff that we're doing right now. So if you want to help us out with that, we'd really appreciate it. And we'll, what is the other thing? Oh, if you share this during the video, all right, you have the chance, figures my battery's running low, you have the chance of winning gift cards. So if you share it during this, I can't even concentrate right now. So right now, Sivel's right behind the camera, and he's playing around, so it's throwing me off to the side. But if you share this video during the video, we're going to track down your name, and we're going to basically put you in a raffle for the 5th week, where you end up having the ability to win a $5 gift card to like a Dunkin' Donuts or a Starbucks.
That's a $20 gift card.
Oh, yes. 5th week, we do questions. And if you get the question right and you're the first one to answer it, then you get the $5 gift card for Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks. For those of you that share this throughout the whole entire 5 weeks, at that 5th week, we're going to take all your names, put them in a hat, and then we're going to raffle it off. Maybe have like Agudelo's kid or Sivel or someone that's in the office if someone's here, and kind of reach in and just pull out someone's name. And if you win, then you get a $20 gift card to a place of your choosing if they do $20 gift cards. Because not everybody does that. Shane, how we doing, buddy? Thank you for joining. So moving forward, we're going to be talking about sellers stuff today. And Lisette's going to kind of walk you guys through what it is that we're going to be talking about. So I'll let you jump into that. And I am going to close this up.
So first one is marketing. Why is marketing important? Why is a good marketing plan important? There are people out there that would just throw your house on the MLS and call it a day. We don't do that. We do a lot more than that. There's agents that do a lot more than that. And the more you have on your marketing plan, the higher of a chance you have of your house getting sold in a short period of time.
Right.
The next one is closing costs. It is absolutely
imperative that you sellers understand what this is.
It's also surprising of how many people don't know about their closing costs until they're at the actual closing table. That's why we make it a point in the very first meeting to say, hey, by the way, you have closing costs.
Yes.
So we're going to go a little into detail about that. And lastly, the final walkthrough. What's the final walkthrough? Why is it important? And yeah, and then that's pretty much the very last step before closing, before handing the keys over.
So boom.
Yeah.
Just that way you know, the other video is on Bolano Home. So people are up on there right now. So if you want to go there on your, yeah, it didn't get posted to Let's Talk. So I'm going to have to fix that.
That's all right. We'll pull it.
So if you guys give me 2 more seconds, once again, I'm just going to get these videos over to the Let's Talk forum. So that way everybody can find this. And then we will get ourselves moving. Boom, boom, boom.
Here we are.
Make my body go boom, boom, do, 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 do. No? All by myself? I was a Disney kid, what can I say?
He's by himself right now. Just cutting. I know what you're talking about too.
Oh, it's really zoom, zoom, zoom. So, on a positive note, Bolano Home has a lot going on right now.
Oh yeah.
So if you are not plugged into our Instagram, I would definitely suggest going there and checking it out. We're doing, like I said, a lot of stuff. Times have been very crazy. We're having fun. We just got a property listed a couple weeks back, and then we had an offer accepted within 6 days.
Less than that.
Right. I'm gonna go to Agudelo's page real quick and let him know that we're on here. Even though he's watching right now. Mr. Agudelo, thank you for joining us. Make sure you share this with your people. And you don't let me post to your page, so I can't even share this there. Come on, buddy. Whose team are you on?
All right, let's talk about what we came here to talk about.
Yeah, that's what we said. Where's the bald guy? Title fees with that one. All right. So Seth's talking about the title fees with the closing costs. Agudelo wants to know where the bald guy is. He's sitting in front of us watching the film. Thank you, Seth, and thank you, Jonathan, for watching. Pedro, thank you for joining. Rob, Bria, boom. So let's make progress now. Importance of good marketing. I'm gonna let Lisette take the reins on that one and get you guys started and start rolling. So what's the importance of marketing?
It's everything.
So
That's pretty much what's gonna give you the exposure to every single buyer out there.
Jonathan, just because you shared the video does not mean that you're getting put into the raffle. Just throwing that out there. Continue.
Anyways, it's really important to have a marketing plan. You want to make sure that it's not just thrown up on the MLS, which is kind of what a lot of people think, that we just throw it up on the MLS and just kind of let it sit there. We don't, at least.
No.
We don't do that. We do a lot more than that.
Yes.
We
try to use Facebook and Instagram and the various social media platforms that we're incorporated into to really help give your this isn't about us per se, so I'm gonna kind of just run through this real quick, but we use that to help increase the amount of exposure. But what we want to talk about is the importance of good marketing and why that's important. And so the importance, where Lisette already started off, yeah, we don't care, Mr. Agudelo. You're all by yourself because you wanted to go be married and stuff. Go on with your badass. I mean, oops. Anyways, the importance of good marketing. Throw me off, Mr. Agudelo. What are you doing to me? Thank you, John Dascom. We just made a video yesterday. Importance of good marketing. It's what basically everyone's going to see when looking at your property. It's where people are going to see it. It's how often people are going to see it. And it's how effective what is being put out there is when people do see it. All these things play a part in your marketing plan, and your real estate agent should be sitting down with you and discussing what their marketing plan is when they go through their listing presentation, or when they send you a pre-listing presentation, something that they do before they go and talk to you in person. They might send you a pre-listing presentation, might have their marketing plan in there, or post where they're actually sitting down with you and going through it there. And different versions of marketing could be things such as like social media, like what we were just talking about, in a very unprofessional manner. And and let's say like even the newspaper. Some people still like to use that. Craigslist. Some people like to do virtual tours. So when you do go up on MLS, you can actually walk through the property by clicking around. And there's a camera that kind of does a 360 view and all that good stuff. And it lets people walk from spot to spot in your property. What else am I missing? Drones. You can go into drones a little bit because my computer's playing not nice right now.
Yeah, so drones kind of give your property a different look or different angles from the images that are taken. If you're sitting in front of a lake, a drone photo will probably be really nice.
Yes.
To show that your house is sitting right on the lake, super close, with a nice view. A lot of people appreciate that.
And it's a nice selling point.
Yep, and it's a nice
It's
selling
something that you would
point,
want
too.
in there, especially from that aerial view, because it's going to really give your house the best foot forward.
Exactly.
Um,
But there's different marketing campaigns too. Well, not marketing campaigns, but marketing strategies, email, social media, as Jonathan said, your personal connections even too, or even going around in your office and saying, hey, does anybody have a buyer that's interested in X, Y, and Z? There's lots of ways to get the word out. So, you know, if you're sitting there with your agent and they're telling you, yeah, I'm just going to put on the MLS, you might want to reconsider hiring them.
or request that they start using social media for you.
Or that. I'm joking. Obviously joking.
Well, that's a tough sell. Gosh.
You know I'm kidding. But definitely ask them what are they going to do for you. That's like maybe like half of the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Is the marketing part. So, I don't know, do you want to add anything else?
No, I think you pretty much hit it perfectly. Also professional photos. So sometimes we go up on MLS and we see pictures up there of people's properties that look like they were taken with a flip phone. Now, I, even at my age, as young as I am, forget what a flip phone is. But if for those of you that don't know, that are probably in your early 20s, those are the phones that you flip open. And the irony to taking a picture with that is that it looks like something that in my day would have been like a black and white photo on the little like Polaroid things. But yeah, no, it doesn't give the property, like it's all pixelated, and what that means you see a lot of dots all over the place. It doesn't give it a nice bright feeling and a nice warm welcoming. And that's part of like the curb appeal side of things. Like even when they walk up to a house and the bushes and stuff aren't cut either, like that's that first impression is those pictures.
Those photos, right?
So having professional photos taken is an important thing. Virtual tours, depending on the size of the property, usually you see that with like larger properties, luxury properties, drone images. So for properties that have a lot of land to help show off the land and maybe even the scenery outlooking from the land. And a few of the other things that we had spoken about, like social media and different ways of like marketing on there. But I think that pretty much covers it for good marketing. If you guys have any questions, we're kind of doing this one a little bit different. We wanted to clear up a few more things because we closed up last week with the clear to close, and we realized that we wanted to talk about a few other things like marketing, the closing costs, and final walkthrough, and just explain what those things are, because we noticed that a lot of our sellers, or a lot of sellers usually, like when we're working with buyers and such, they end up at the closing table and they're kind of like surprised at some of this stuff. They're like, oh, there's a final this, or there's closing costs, and it stinks to be there and realize you like owe $7,000 still. So we feel like it'd be good for you guys to be aware of. So moving on, what are closing costs, Ms. Lisette?
Closing costs are fees that both buyer and seller have to pay. There will be instances where the buyer is going to ask the seller to pay their closing costs. It just depends on the situation. But as a seller, what does that include? Your attorney fees, such as the title searches and things like that. It includes that. Your final water and sewer bill.
Mm-hmm. Taxes.
Your tax stamps. There's no way to get out of that. You have to pay your taxes pretty much. I don't remember the exact number per every 1,000.
Correct.
So I don't want to throw that out there. unless I know the number for sure. But it's not that high.
Right.
I think it's under $3 per every 1,000 that you sold for. And what else? I think those are the big ones.
Correct. But nonetheless, you guys got to be aware of this. So if you're
Yes,
looking to sell a property,
exactly.
realize that you too have closing costs. And you should have this conversation with your realtor as well, because not all the scenarios are the same either with this.
Exactly.
Some of them might be more, some of them might be less. Maybe your attorney costs more, maybe your attorney costs less. Same thing with a lot of different things. So make sure you have that conversation with your real estate agent early on in the game and try to understand what your closing costs you're going to be looking at paying, because you don't want to show up at the closing table and you have money, plans for all the money that you're going to be taking in, and then all of a sudden realize that you're going to be out 10 grand or something like that. It would be a really poor situation to be in. No pun intended.
Did that happen to you once? As a seller? You were thrown off a little bit? Or did you just not do your math right?
I do not recall, but probably. Well, we won't talk about my past life. But moving forward, we're going to get into the final walkthrough. My computer seems to have died and doesn't want to play, so I apologize for that too. So if you guys are watching from my page, I don't have the ability to respond to you or anything, because for some reason the computer is not even charging up. This is really cool.
It is charging. Okay. Anything else about closing costs? Final thoughts? No?
No.
Alright, so just know too, as a seller, since we are doing the seller series, there are going to be some offers. I think this was brought up at some point too, in earlier episodes, where you will be asked to pay closing costs. That's not always the case. It depends on the buyer, depends on what program they're using. Everything's a little different, but there are instances where people do ask to pay the buyer's closing costs, and you still have to pay your own as a seller. You're not freed from your side because you're paying the buyers. That's a common misconception as well, that it's about, and we can't even give you a solid number either, because as Jonathan mentioned earlier, attorney fees do vary depending on who you go with, and not everyone has the same bill for their water and sewer, and some people use more, some people use less.
Yeah, some people like to take 4-hour showers.
Like you. Just kidding.
So, moving on. I jumped up mine right there too. If you guys have no questions in regards to closing costs, we're going to hit the final walkthrough and try to understand what that is. And so, when you guys go through the selling process, you're going to have inspections done, you're going to have appraisals done, you're going to have a whole bunch of negotiating going on towards that end before the attorney gets in play. And you have a certain amount of time to get a lot of the stuff that you have done fixed. And then at the end, the buyers come by with their real estate agent and they do a final walkthrough. And they make sure that the property is still intact. It's still in the form of what was agreed upon in your, what word am I thinking about?
Inspection?
No, it's the purchase and sales and such. Anyways, it's what you guys ended up agreeing to on paper. I just can't think of the word for some reason right now. And like if there's a fan that was supposed to be there and all of a sudden now the fan's missing, things like that will pop up. And so you don't want to pull any fans or dryers or washers out that weren't planned to be out. You don't want to leave a couch behind just because you want to be a nice person and leave your couch behind, because not everybody wants your couch. And if you didn't want the couch, chances are the next person's not going to want your couch either. It's not really being a nice thing. It's a little more painful than that, if anything. But that's what the final walkthrough does. So I suffered of something like this with my first purchase, and it was not fun at all. And I'm going to give you guys a story real quick because I think it's pretty funny. So I bought a short sale for my first property, and when I walked into the first floor, it was a bungalow, so an in-law apartment in the basement. I walked into the first floor and everything was nice and clean. And when I went to go see the second floor, the basement, with the in-law apartment, there was still a couch there, there was still old food. The people looked like they had just got up and left everything there, literally, the food, the drinks, everything. So it stunk a little bit, but it was all right. It was not the end of the world, and I was like, listen, as long as this stuff is out of the house, I'm good to go, all right? Be careful what you wish for. So lo and behold, I have a 2-car garage at that property too. And when I went to the final walkthrough, I went and walked around the house and I said, yeah, they did a good job. Everything's nice and clean. Let's go to the closing table and let's sign the deal and get out of here. So I go to the closing table, I read through my papers, I sign all my documents, I go home, and guess what? My house is still just as clean as it was during the final walkthrough. Everything's kosher. I go and get the garage opener, I go to the garage. Every single piece of everything that was in that basement that had no value was in a garbage bag, lined up in a 2-car garage, front to back, left to right, about up to my waist. All this stuff was sitting in trash bags right there because I didn't go and check that out. And so that's what the final walkthrough is for. And that's what I get when I was early on in all this and not into the real estate game. Just being an ill-informed purchaser, I get stuck with all their trash. And it took me about 5 to 6 months to get rid of all that trash because I didn't have enough room in my trash cans and such. But I was literally putting it out for weeks. So lesson learned for me, and hopefully lesson learned for the rest of you that are going to be buying a property, that when you go do your final walkthrough, realize that this is your chance to say, you got to come and take care of this stuff. Otherwise, I'm not signing that paperwork. And you have the ability to do that. So a final walkthrough is extremely important for you guys.
For the sellers too, this is confirmation. So say that you guys agreed on repairs from the inspection period. That is the chance to make sure, well, for the buyers and their agent, to make sure that those repairs were actually done.
Correct.
So that's why it happens, to make sure that everything is still intact, but to also make sure that the repairs that you guys agreed upon were done. And that's also, it's going to be put in writing as well. So be aware, make sure to do what you agreed to do.
Yes.
So that way you don't extend your closing because these walkthroughs happen either the day of or the day before closing. It wouldn't be very fun, at least for me, to extend closing a week because the faucet wasn't fixed.
Right.
I don't know about you, but.
But anyways, not to get all morbid and everything, because we're trying to be nice and live, because we are live right now. Other than that, that's pretty much everything you guys need to do. Those are the final things that we kind of missed on or missed to touch upon in the previous weeks. Just to recap, because it doesn't look like we have a lot of questions today. We just went back to the other tab. Any questions over here?
Where's the bald guy? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So yeah, so we basically touched on the importance of good marketing. We went through closing costs. One of the things to add in with the closing costs, thank you, Mr. Agudelo, for reminding us, is the recording fees. There are recording fees to go in with the sale of your property, and those are going to be added in there as well. But to hit that final point, final walkthrough. The final walkthrough, like I said, is the day of the closing, if not a day or two before. So when, and to add to this as well too, because a lot of sellers don't always hear this either, you have to be out of your property a few days before the closing date, not the day of. So, sorry, watching Little Man again. You have to be out of the property a few days before, if not the day before, if not the day of, but you have to work that out with your buyer, and your real estate agent should be able to help you out with that. And so that's in preparation for the final walkthrough. So
Standard is 48 hours, I believe.
correct. So just something to be aware of if you are going to be selling your property. And yeah, Lisette, I'm going to let you do some of the closing up. And
Alright, I guess we have a short one. We are a few minutes early. Alright, so everything was kind of quick today. We didn't have a lot of questions. We had a lot of people tune in temporarily. No, just kidding. We've had a lot of people come through today, but we're quiet on the question side of things, so that's kind of sad.
yeah, it's all right. We got the people that mattered in there right now. Mr. Dascom has joined us. Mr. Agudelo had joined us. Mr.
Yes.
Mintz had joined us. So these are all important people to be aware of.
Bouncy
And
people.
yeah, if you haven't been in the real estate process before, these are good people to get in touch with. I just did a video yesterday with John Dascom. He's one of the owners of Go Fix It. And what they do is they fix it. They help out first-time home buyers. They help out sellers. They help out just homeowners with like renovations. And they do a number of other things as well. And so what John Dascom does is he's goes to the property, he sees what's up and everything, and he gives you like an itemized list of the different things that you want to do to the property, along with the price, and helps you work through like what you want to do and prioritize things. And then they offer different products as well.
Yes.
That also help out with like inspections. So if that type of stuff is of interest to you, where you need like a good contractor that's going to be communicative, you need help with a 2 or 3K loan, this guy, what he has put together is really like prime time. So it's something to look into. Mr. Agudelo is one of the loan officers that we work with. He speaks Spanish, which is a nice little plus. Miss Priscilla, how we doing? Let's see, Seth Mintz, he works over at Equity National Title. He's part of the attorney companies that could be helping you out with some of your projects. Another great guy, very useful and very nice. Miss Sarah, how we doing? Nice seeing you as well. Thank you for joining. But yeah, that's that. That's all your little shout outs real quick. I'm not going to go too in detail. This is Sellers Session 2, week number 4. That means that next week we're going to be going through the questions. There's going to be 3 questions. Whoever answers it first, whoever answers it right, because that's always pretty important too. If you just start blurting out answers and it's not right, then you're not getting anything. You might as well have not answered at all. But we're having fun anyway. So you get the question right. You have the chance at winning a $5 gift card to Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks. And then for those of you that have shared the video, we're going to drop your names into a bucket, a hat, or a box, or maybe someone's just hands, and we're just going to shuffle them around and pull a name out. And one of you guys is going to win a $20 gift card. That's been helping us share these videos, and that's in our appreciation for you guys doing that. Mm-hmm. If you have any more questions, we're still here. Looks like it's pretty quiet out there. We're going to sign off then. Nice quick video today. Lisette and Jonathan signing off. Session 2, week 4, Sellers series. Boom. No? Not cool?
I wish I would have prepared something ahead of time.
I should have communicated that then. All right, I'm going to go shut these off. Y'all have a good night.
Have a good one, you guys.